Welcome back to the Altcoin Media. We're going to get into this report. Mixed bag. Bitcoin is at 71,000, but we did get some very, very mixed information from Trump, and he kind of manipulated the market, so we're correcting right now. Let's get into the report.
Welcome to the Altcoin Hour, your weekly alpha. Yeah, we breaking down the charts, flipping bags, playing smart. From the dips to the moon shots, connecting all the dots. Let's get it. Altcoin now.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into the report. I hope you guys are doing very, very well. Welcome to the show. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any further updates. Now, I'm going to zoom in because this is a really, really cool moonshot, all right? We got over 69,000, which was great, right? That was great. But we're going to correct because there was some mischievous behavior that happened today when it comes to, President Trump. He actually lied about communications with Iran, all right? Now, that was manipulation. We know that. The oil market was going north of $105, all right? We're talking WTI. We're talking about the crude. Brent is already over 100. So he had to do something, and the stock market was teetering on a collapse. So I believe we need to look forward to more lies just to kind of keep the markets at bay until everything calms down geopolitically. So just be mindful of that. I think Trump is probably going to continue to do this. He's going to continue, not only Trump, but the actual administration, institutions. There's going to be a lot of manipulation, guys, going forward until everything relaxes, when it comes to the Gulf Coast. So just get ready for that. It's going to be a hell of a ride this week. 71,000, up 3%. Bitcoin is holding because there was a lot of buyership. A lot of people went in. A lot of whales kind of recirculated back in as well. You have a lot of people moving from metals into Bitcoin. This was a bullish statement. We thought the war was going to end. We thought there was going to be a ceasefire. That's not the case. So I think we're going to correct down to 69,000 before the end of the day. And you just seen a big sell if you just saw that behind me on the chart. Pretty decent sale. So I think we're going back to probably below 69,000 once everything corrects. So once the news cycle really corrects, the money actually gets to know what's really going on in Iran. There's no ceasefire, and we're probably going to get some more bombs, dropping over, that the situation is bananas right now, and it's affecting the market. So when you're looking at the actual altcoin, and especially the RSI, we're talking about that overbought oversold interval, we're even right now. And I want to click that. Let's go and look at that because we have some people that are in the middle again. We're kind of like confused here. We don't know what we want to do with our money. All right. We kind of sold a little bit over the week, got a little fear involved, a little fear and test. Now we're back in the middle. A lot of the actual cryptocurrency holders, and we're talking a lot of altcoins, they don't know what to do with their money. We're back in that middle of the oversold, overbought territory. The RSI is 50. Now, some say this is good. There's no profuse selling. There's not a lot of running out of the gate. There's not a lot coming in as well. So you got to have a lot of smart investors that are like, I don't want to sell at a loss, but I don't want to necessarily buy this dip because it's weird. And this is what you have here. And I totally agree with that. So you have XRP sitting at 145. It's up a little bit, but it's actually going back down. Everything is correcting. All of the alts actually moved with Bitcoin when we had that moonshot. So you see Bitcoin correcting right now, and all of these alts, guys, are going to correct as well. And if you bought this dip, God bless you, just hold. There's no sense in selling at a loss if you FOMO'd in, you know what I'm saying? There was major dips within the last 5 days, but I think a lot of you probably FOMO'd into this pump too as well. And you're probably going to get crushed, but it's okay. Don't sell at a loss. Not financial advice, I would hold because you're just going to lose money. So the whole market is reacting to what Bitcoin is doing. It is what it is. And what Bitcoin is reacting to is geopolitics, institutional inflow, Michael Saylor, BlackRock. They pretty much control the movements of Bitcoin. Now we're going to get into this Clarity Act news because we have Citi that's coming out with our predictions. They actually cut the prediction, and a lot of it has to do with legislation. The market structure bill that stalled out, the Clarity Act bill that stalled out. We did get some movement. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So we did get a breakthrough. Let's go ahead and get into this, and then we'll get into the news when it comes to digital asset clarity too as well. That is a markup. It hasn't been passed or anything, but I think we need 7 Senate votes for the Clarity Act situation. And then there's some more things too that no one's talking about that needs to be actually discussed as well. It's not just about bank yield, things of that nature, but I think we're actually having a breakthrough. And you can see the actual headline, Clarity Act gets deadlock breakthrough. That also opens up the door for more Bitcoin demand as well. So a lot of the Bitcoin price point, the trajectory upward, it has a lot to do with this legislation, okay? And Citi, I'll go down here because I want to make sure I got this right. The actual predictions, and we're talking about Citi in March, they cut their actual Bitcoin price prediction. This is a 12-month interval, and it was at $143,000, which mine was at $150. In a good climate. We don't have a good climate right now. We have geopolitics going on. We have actual war that's actually breaking out, right? Bombs going all over the place, lies, things of that nature. They cut their predictions from 143 to 112. We're talking $112,000 a Bitcoin per coin price, right? That was a prediction. Now, this is what Citi said. Citi said explicitly the actual start out legislation had a lot to do with this, okay? It had narrowed the window from 143 to 112, right? Now, the actual bear case for Bitcoin, and we're talking about no legislation and continued turmoil in the Middle East. We're talking $58,000. So that's very bearish. But when it comes to this legislation, the Clarity Act legislation, it's a very bullish movement here that we actually saw here with the banks. Now, we don't know the actual legalese. We don't actually know what the bank said and what the actual senators and these congressmen are actually talking about. We don't know the capitulation level when it comes to the banks. But I believe when we do get breakthroughs like this, at least they're talking, right? At least they're talking about how they can move forward, because there's a lot more in stake. It's not just about bank yield, okay? And we started with this, I think it was between February and January, when we actually started this actual bottleneck of nothing happening, right? So midterms is coming along really, really quickly. We're going to get there pretty fast, I believe. And I think we need to get this done before that, because if we don't, you're looking at 2029. I'm serious, because I don't think it's going to go very well for the Republican Party when it comes to midterms. I don't think it's going to go very well. So we need to get this done. Now, Paul Atkins is very bullish about this. Brad Garlinghouse, very bullish about this getting done. Tim Scott as well, Senate Banking Chairman. They're bullish about this movement and about this actual development when it comes to the bank slightly capitulating on bank yield, but there's more that needs to be done. And those additional issues have a lot to do with crypto ventures, elected officials making money in crypto, doing it illegally, manipulating markets and things of that nature. AML, we're talking about anti-money laundering language as well. That needs to be actually reconciled. So there's a lot of stuff beyond crypto lending, beyond yield that needs to be handled and needs to be moved forward. So let's get into the digital asset announcements, because that was pretty interesting too as well. Very, very bullish. So we got the categories, the digital asset sections when it comes to what is a commodity and what the hell is a security, okay? So we knew Bitcoin was a commodity. We already knew, we had the clarity with Ethereum as well. This was before Atkins, okay? Now we have a pretty distinct category list when it comes to these non-securities, okay? Now, digital commodities, we're talking about crypto assets that are intrinsically linked and that essentially derive from the value of the actual programmatic operations of the crypto system. We're talking blockchain coins, essentially, digital commodities. They're not going to be secured. And there was a lot of them that were on the list. I think it was 18. So we understand that Bitcoin, Ethereum, AVAX, these type of coins, they're not going to be securities, obviously. All right. They're exchange of medium. They represent the actual said operation or ecosystem or system, essentially. Okay. We already had that clarity. Now, when it comes to collectibles, NFTs, they are not securities, which is very, very cool for the NFTers as well. That was really cool to get that clarity. Digital tools are not securities as well. We're talking about crypto assets that perform a practical function, such as a membership ticket, credential, title instrument, or identity badge, things of that nature. Now, here's the thing about that. I don't know if that encompasses the synthetic variants. There's no clarity there. So I want to get some clarity there. I'm looking for that clarity because I think that's a gray area, okay, when it comes to decentralized finance applications, okay, when you're getting yield in those particular atmospheres. So stablecoins, that was already actually initially addressed in the Genius Act. Stablecoins are not securities. But here's the thing about that. You're going to have a permit to actually issue a stablecoin under this language. You're going to have to be permitted. You're going to have to actually register as an issuer of a stablecoin before you can get these glorious abilities. So this is what is a security. Tokenized assets, guys. RWAs, homes and cars that are going to be actually tokenized in these markets. Financial instruments, okay? These are going to be securities, and that's pretty clear. I think this was very, very easy to understand. And I think a lot of you are probably like, okay, great. I can actually do some NFT work, and I don't have to worry about anything, okay? And I will say a bulk of the altcoins are going to be non-securities as well. So this was a very, very good clarity. And I'll leave with this before we get out of here. Be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and be mindful of what's going on with Trump. He's going to manipulate oil in the actual markets. I'm talking cryptocurrency markets, stock markets, whatever market he can manipulate during this war, he's going to do it. He's going to say things that are completely not true. It is what it is. All right. So let me know what you think about the report. Be very careful in these markets. Don't FOMO into any pump because it's probably going to correct. And with that said, we'll see you in the next show. Take it easy.